Welcome to day 3 of our 30 days AI automation masterclass. Yesterday was all about the engine. We signed up for N10 and I showed you how to install it on your computer so that you can use it for free. If you haven't set up a Docker yet, so go back and watch day 2 so you don't get stuck in coming lectures. Today we are going to learn how to actually talk to the machine. I am going to show you the user interface again, but this time we are going to build our very first AI workflow. You are going to see how a trigger starts and how the information moves from one node to another. We will build a sample form that collects data and I will show you exactly how that data looks behind the scenes. By the end of this video, you will understand the input and output of an AI system. This is the foundation of everything we will build later. Let's jump back into our local N10 dashboard and get started. Okay, okay, so this is our dashboard. You can drag and drop this uh, trigger node anywhere. You can zoom in, zoom out from your mouse or from this navigation panels. So this is our dashboard and this is where we are going to save the name of our workflow. For example, we are going to set it for our first workflow. So this is going to be the file name saved and you can see that workflow successfully created inside our personal space. So moving next, we have this tag element. This tag element is used to give tag to a specific group of AI workflows. Like if we in future we are going to create workflows for businesses for example like any kind of sales, any kind of sales, any kind of content generation workflows, and we are going to tag them and group them in a specific tag. Okay, so moving next, we have these three options. We have editor view, we have executions, and we have evaluation. So currently you are viewing the editor view, where we are going to create the AI workflow and add the nodes and everything. Okay, after editor, the execution node is basically used to find the errors and if the workflow have any sort of error or any sort of problem, you are going to find it here and debug it from here and see the execution of the workflow. So moving next, we have evaluations. Evaluations is basically you are going to enable evaluation component and allow test your AI workflows over multiple inputs. So you can check it by yourself. We are moving back to editor. Okay, so moving next, now we have this versions component. Basically, this version component create versions of our AI workflow like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and if first time your workflow worked perfectly and then you have done some changes and then it got some error which you can't find, so you are able to have the first version of your AI workflow. So you can manage it from there. Okay, after versions, we are moving to the next element, which is basically this ellipse. So what is here we have edit description, we have duplicate, download, or we can download the workflow, rename it, import from any sort of URL or import from file. When we are going in next classes, we are going to import template workflows from GitHub or like from any sort of these platforms, which we are going to then use to modify and create another workflow with more functionalities. Okay, so this is the basic settings and basic overview of an N10 dashboard. Yesterday in day 2 of our AI automation masterclass, I have assigned you tasks to download Docker, install Docker and set up N10 and then test by yourself and see all these things so that you guys are going to familiar with this N10 dashboard. So now moving to the main part and create our first AI workflow. So the first thing is that in our day 1 of our AI automation masterclass, we have understand something to start the workflow. So to start the workflow, we are having this trigger element. So what is this trigger going to do is that trigger is basically an starting point, and you guys can send if else or and check on the AI workflow, which when started or called is going to start the AI workflow. For example, we have here trigger manually. Trigger manually means that you guys are going to start every time this AI workflow with your hand. Like you are going to click on, for example, let me drag you here, and you are going to click every time execute it. You are going to click every time execute it, not automatically, but it is going to manually execute it. So moving next, we have on app event, which means that if any third party app is having any sort of event, like in Telegram, you are going to get any sort of message or any sort of call, then this on app event is being called. And moving next, we have on a schedule, which is going to be a schedule trigger, which you schedule like on 5 a.m., 5 p.m., and on every day 5 p.m. it this automation is going to be called. On 5 a.m. every day, this automation is going to be executed. The most common example of this on a schedule trigger is like you are running an YouTube automation channel and you have set up an timer to upload a YouTube video or YouTube short. So every day on 5 o'clock, this automation is going to work and the video is going to be automatically uploaded in your YouTube channel. So after on a schedule, we are moving to on webhook calls. Basically, it is used when we are going to run any flow on the basis of any HTTP request or any web-based request. Then we have on form submission. On form submission is executed when this automation is executed when any sort of form is filled. Like you can connect the Google form with this automation, and when any Google form is submitted, then the automation is going to collect the lead, execute the lead, or then going to message someone else. Okay, so if we add an form submission here, so you guys can see we have a trigger on form submission, and it is also a node. When we double click on it, we can set up this form like form title, form description, form elements, and responded when the form is submitted or when workflow finished. So this is how the form trigger works. On this section, this is input, and here you see what input is coming in this form, and here you are guys are going to see what output is coming out from the form. Okay, so let me give you an example workflow which I have just created from ChatGPT. I will tell you how to create workflows in future classes with the help of AI like ChatGPT or Gemini, and direct copy paste the JSON code into N10 and create these workflows. So in here, when we are here in start, this is basically an payment collection workflow, which is basically going to, when executed, it is going to order data, then it is going to validate amount. If the amount is true, then it is going to calculate total. This is an if else trigger. This is an order data trigger. Let me show you what it is inputting. It is taking the name, customer, value, Javed Jabbar, then name, email, then value. Like it is going to first having these details, currency, then moving next we are going to validate it, then we are going to calculate total. Okay, so these are the values we have set in the form, which is then stored in this table. Okay, then we are going to create payment payload, then log transactions, and then send email. To send email, we are going to use any sort of API, which I will tell you in future how to set credentials and connect any external email APIs. So now I will tell you how to create this form submission trigger and node. So when you click on this, double click on this form node, you are going to create an form title and any sort of form description. Like if I am going to create this as booking form and going to book now, as a description, and form element we are going to add and form element, which is basically the label like name, and it is going to input text, and we are going to have another like location, and it is also going to be text, and form is submitted and going to execute step. Then it is going to say that the form trigger isn't listening yet. Okay, to do that we are going to execute this step, and when you executed this step, then if you hit enter again, then there is a booking form. Okay, when you write name and location, name and location, and then submit this form, now our form is submitted here. Okay, and you guys can see that we have received the input of our form, and here you can see the output, and you can see the outputs in different formats like in schema or like in JSON or like in table. Okay, so now moving next, we are going to next step in which we are going to add an Google Sheet here, and anything which is submitted on the form is going to store in the Google Sheet. I am just giving you an base level understanding. Like if you we have a lot of data, like a lot of forms coming from a lot of people, like we have 10,000 form coming, and you can't manually save it in Google Sheets and can't manually save it one by one. So this is where a automation comes, and a automation works. Like we are going to add here sheets and Google Sheets. Okay, so to do that we are going to add append or update row in sheet and select this one, so that the data we have stored earlier in our form is going to exactly same in this Google Sheet. Okay, so we have added an Google Sheets node here. When you double click on it, you guys are seeing this error because you have to connect your Google API here. Okay, so this is all for today. Now you know how information moves inside an AI system and how to build a simple form which collects data. Here is your homework for today. You are going to create your own simple form in N10 and test it like I did. Look at the output data in JSON views so you get used to familiar with JSON. If you completed your first workflow today, comment day 3 done below. I want to see who is still with me on 30 days on this 30 days journey. If you have any if you have any question about these first 3 lectures, then you can ask me in the comments. Tomorrow we are going to get even more serious and understand what is JSON and data types in AI agents and N10, and I will also show you how to connect this Google Sheet with the N10 dashboard. Make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell icon so you don't miss day 4 of our a 30 days AI automation challenge, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.